And welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing except for fake news. And now your trio of hosts, starting with Audrey Devil May Care Ember, Romina with the good hair, and of course, your dark lord of the internet, Roberto Blake. Welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like and subscribe.
Woo! All right,
Roberto,
so
where's your hat?
yeah,
What's up?
Roberto,
Right
you
here.
need like a Halloween headband.
I have an entire costume. I have an entire Miles Morales costume, like right here.
I don't accept that.
I even bought Jordans for. How dare you? I even bought Jordans just for this costume.
Dang.
Really? What a
That's
waste.
You better do like a photo shoot with that.
I am. I have an entire thing planned. I have a whole thing planned.
Okay, but what about for NARP? You're not gonna wear that.
I plan to wear it on Halloween on Twitch, and
Next time?
Huh?
On next week's one?
Probably.
Next week's episode.
Probably.
See, all right, this
Are
is
we all
what was
dressing
happening.
up for the next one?
No, I don't have a costume. Look, this
I
is
don't-
what was
See,
happening.
that sounds like a personal problem.
I'm just gonna use this and like figure something
Wow.
out.
Wow.
Wait,
Look,
actually no, I can do.
I just look, here was my plan, Roberto, because Audrey and I both have headbands, Halloween headbands. I was thinking I'm just gonna buy you a Halloween headband, a costume headband. And so Audrey and I have been discussing this for like the past 15 minutes. We were trying to decide which one to buy you. And I was just gonna get one. Like, what is he doing? Oh, wait.
He's putting
did
on
you-
the mask.
Oh my God, he's not even listening to me. He's not even listening to me this entire
Oh my
time I've been
God.
talking to him. Roberto, have you not been listening to anything I was saying?
No.
Wow. Incredible. You know, I don't even know why I show up to the show. I feel like
Wait, but we can't dress up this time because that's supposed to happen next time. Can you see anything, Roberto, with that?
Just barely, but yeah.
wow, just barely. That means like his it's so disturbing to see you separate your eyes like that.
I know.
All right, Roberto's wearing a full mask right now, and I feel like this is gonna last like 2
This
minutes.
won't end well.
Someone said into the Roberto
Into the Roberto verse.
Yeah.
Roberto, can you even read the viewers' comments?
Just barely.
Wow,
Hmm.
just barely. Can you imagine if that was like what you answered to everything in life? Just like, how much work are you putting in
You
a
know
lot of
what?
work
This actually
for your
works.
business? Oh, just barely.
The glasses.
Oh, is it because you don't have your contacts on?
I don't have contacts at all. I need contacts. Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. So,
So
then
like
that's
the
why
mesh
you
thing
can't-
isn't so bad. It's just my actual
It's
vision.
Yeah, you're. What are you doing? Are you stabbing me with your little devil's fork? Oh my God, you guys are out of control. All right,
Yeah.
look,
This
here's
isn't
a.
actually that bad. This isn't that bad. This actually doesn't feel horrible.
All right, Roberto says that, but he's dying a little bit inside.
Yeah.
So-
You're like,
Well, the
we're
things
used
I
to
do
it
for
now.
the views, right? The things I do for the viewers, right?
Look, I really
Mhm.
wanted to get you a headband. I was gonna get you either a giraffe or a cow.
The real ones in the chat know that I will only wear the number 2 headband. The real ones in the chat know that reference. The real ones in
Oh
the
my
chat
God.
know about that number 2
Is that
headband.
a Naruto thing?
No, it is not.
Okay.
Wow. You know
Audrey,
what?
for reference, like, and actually, Romina, you may know this reference, like Afro Samurai,
Yeah.
that number 2 headband. The real ones in the chat know what's up.
You know, I'm a little bit sad that you declined my gift. And just because of that, I'm going to get them both. And I'm going to ship
Oh
them
my
both
God.
to your
Okay.
You're not gonna
Roberto's his next video is going to be him like setting the headbands on fire.
Yeah.
He's just going to
Well, you
stray away from
spoilers.
his normal content.
Spoilers.
He's going to use Elon Musk's flamethrower.
Oh my goodness. Actually, that'd be kind of fun.
Not a flamethrower. Not a flamethrower.
Oh, right, not a flamethrower. He's going to use Elon Musk's not a flamethrower.
Just
Flamethrower.
use one of those like lighter things.
Yes, Henry, I know Spider-Man 3 might have Toby and Andrew in it. That'd be
Yes.
interesting.
Oh my god.
Wait,
Wait,
oh.
is that actually gonna happen or no?
I think it might happen for real.
Did you know that Spider-Man 3 may feature Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield, the older Spider-Mans?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I feel like
How will
people have
that
been
work?
asking for this, and I'm in disbelief that they would actually listen to the fans.
The thing is, we know for a fact that the multiverse is real, despite all the bullshit Mysterio said. We know that the multiverse is real, so that could be a whole thing. Not to mention, it would help Peter Parker get out of the whole mess he is in terms of, oh, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. It's like, no, I'm Spider-Man. Like, that would.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's gonna be like that meme where the 3 Spider-Men are like pointing
Are pointing at each other?
Oh my god, what if they did like a reference to that meme?
I do
in the
believe that
movie?
that's on the table.
They better do that. Oh my god.
I feel
would
like
be
that's on the
great.
table.
That would be great.
They have to.
I feel
I
like
don't
that's on
know.
the table.
That better be on the table. Because like that would be
RJ, well, you're the closest one. You're the closest one to the
I should
studios
just
right now.
run over there and be like, put the
Knock on their
Spider-Man
door.
meme.
Wouldn't they be filming in
Yeah.
Atlanta though?
Yeah, they probably are gonna be filming.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. There's no executive decisions are made there.
Yeah, that's true. I can run over to the studio and just be like, put up something in their mailbox and be like, you better put the Spider-Man meme in the movie or you're
They
losing.
did
huge
put it in
marketing.
Spider-Verse, so it's like it's not so unreasonable that
Yeah, they did. That's true.
Well, speaking of movies, Audrey, have you watched any films on that list that I labored over for hours?
Since when? Because technically, I have watched some, but just not recently.
What have you? Okay. Since we've last spoken, I feel like the last time that we spoke was the Wes Anderson.
No, we brought it up like last time.
What did you see?
I don't know. It's been a little while.
Wow. Okay. The fact that you have to think about it means that you aren't advancing through the list fast enough.
I want to watch scary ones. I think
There's
we
like-
already talked about this.
There's scary ones on there.
I know. I'm gonna watch some of the scary ones.
Huh.
Soon.
Interesting.
Keyword is soon.
It has to be like this week, or else like what's the point?
I will. Maybe. No, I will. Yeah. But I haven't watched them recently.
Do we want to jump into tonight's topic since we're like 8 minutes in?
Yeah, why don't you lead into that since I have no idea
I
what's
know
going on.
nothing about this. I just saw it.
Oh, you
briefly
haven't been on Twitter?
No.
I mean, I've been on Twitter, but
And have you guys not watched Phil
Not that
DeFranco
part of-
today?
No, not yet.
Well,
But-
there's
fill us in.
Okay.
Fill us
Fill
in.
us.
so in YouTubery news today.
See, that's
let's-
what he should have called his show.
YouTubery news?
Fill us in.
Yeah, fill us in.
No.
No.
Okay, all right, fine. Since all of my ideas are being shot down today, pew, pew, pew. I'm gonna mute myself while Roberto explains what's going on, and I'm gonna keep looking at the giraffe headbands.
All right, so here's the deal. All right, Spocky, here's the deal. What happened is that right now PewDiePie is experiencing an issue where his latest video, he usually gets 500,000 views in the first hour of upload. It's been like 7-8 hours now, and I think he just cleared 500,000 now. Videos are not hitting the sub feed, notifications clearly not going out, and also his channel wasn't really showing up in YouTube search. So this led people to start saying that he was shadow banned. Now he didn't come out and say, "Oh, hey, I'm being shadow banned." He sent out to his community tab saying, which I screenshot in tonight's video that I made, like, "Hey, what's going on?" And well, I don't know why, but video's not going out to people and everything like that. Here it is. Please watch. And then he like, is gonna look into it. YouTube says they're looking into it, but the reality is that they're like YouTube has no reason to shadow ban PewDiePie. So like people are calling this a shadow ban, but I think one of the bigger problems, and I had this conversation with both Coffee Break and with another commenter, Nicholas. I think that one of the biggest problems in social media, especially in Twitter, that we have is I don't think we all agree what words mean. And so when I hear the word shadow ban, I am hearing the phrase the intentional suppressing of content directly and intentionally by a platform. Do both of you agree that that's what a shadow ban is?
I guess so. I haven't really thought too much about shadow banning because a lot of the time I feel like it's people over speculating or
crying victim. But But Romina, do you understand that to be your definition of what a shadow ban is?
Yeah, I feel like shadow ban, as I've heard it described, specifically for Instagram, is when the platform limits the reach of content to people because of certain behaviors of that user.
Right. So the thing is, there's nothing that PewDiePie has been doing on his own that we can see that would merit or trigger that in a way that we should expect, or that is justifiable or warranted or would make any kind of sense, because he's been uploading content that he's always been uploading and there's never been an issue. And he's also been super wholesome all year. Like, he hasn't been in a controversy since the time he got married, as best as I can tell. And so there's no reason for YouTube to take any action against him. Furthermore, again, but we'd have to agree that it's intentional. Now that's where the disagreement is, and where people said, okay, because the thing is, I'm not saying the issue with his content being limited didn't happen. I'm saying YouTube did not target him, single him out, focus on him, or attack him, or try to undermine him, because people have convinced themselves that there's a war between PewDiePie and YouTube, or that YouTube doesn't like PewDiePie anymore, but that's not actually true. Case in point, they signed what is reported to be a $10 million to $30 million exclusivity deal with him to live stream on the platform, similar to like how Joe Rogan got the exclusivity deal to move over to Spotify. PewDiePie, when his contract was up with D Live, which I think a live stream platform that nobody remembers that he signed an exclusivity deal with, that was supposed to be a crypto-based one that he was also supposed to, I think, get part ownership of. He was given an equity, if I'm not mistaken, in that deal. Guess what? Well, that platform is like all but dead, and he's back home with YouTube in an exclusive live streaming deal worth a substantial amount of money. This is not a 7-figure deal. This is an 8-figure deal. So why would YouTube suppress the content of somebody that they're in an 8-figure deal with? That doesn't make any kind of sense, and I don't think YouTube decided to abandon capitalism today. So,
because YouTube is inherently evil.
Some people would have you believe that. Some people would have you believe that. But see, that's the problem. What's up, Audrey?
Was it just like a glitch or something then? Like,
that's what I'm saying it is. I believe that this is a glitch, and the thing is, here's my thing. I think it's worse because I think that because people want to make this into a YouTube is screwing people over, and look at Felix can't catch a break, and people are hijacking him and using because he's the biggest YouTuber, and I totally get it, but it's all clickbait and fake news. Because if they're trying to say that YouTube is out to get him, why did they give him millions of dollars to be exclusive? It doesn't make any damn sense. So people need to just like get a grip here. And the reality is that when it comes to this thing, it's most likely a glitch because like it's October. Do you not remember like almost every October, like clockwork, there's like some massive problem on YouTube? Like, didn't YouTube have like an outage for like 6 hours last October? Like, or do we all just magically forget that? Like,
No, I did not forget that.
Yeah, I remember everyone was like, it's the end.
And like the October before that, there was like a freaking problem. There was like some major problem. Like there's always something going on this time of year. And again, it's just more likely like you could use either Occam's razor or Hamlin's razor. You could look at either of these logical, critical thinking frameworks and you could say, here is what's more likely. It's more likely that YouTube as a platform has an unstable code base and has gremlins in the machine and that like stuff's going to go wrong, the platform is held together by duct tape, than to believe that they just arbitrarily decide to screw over PewDiePie and also screw themselves out of like, you know, tens of millions of dollars that they gave him only to suppress their content. It's like, so what's more likely? YouTube abandoned capitalism and decide to burn millions of dollars of cash when they don't have to, out of spite or out of fear of PC culture or some nonsense that people would want to believe, when Felix has been wholesome and been a good boy all year, or as per usual, YouTube just is like, you know, having its issues like it does every year in terms of, they broke it this time, they changed something this time, that someone didn't like version the code right, somebody screwed up this, like, it's like, I mean, when has this platform been stable? Like when?
In probably for like 3 months in like 2007.
Right? Like, I mean, I still think they get more than wrong. Like people bash me for supposedly always defending YouTube and being YouTube's white knight. It's because it's a free freaking platform that does better by me than my damn cable company that I pay every month. I pay my cable company hundreds of dollars a month for them to not work nearly as well as YouTube does. That's just what like how I am about it. Like, yeah, you heard me, Comcast.
Wow.
I ain't even pulling no punches on that. Like, I pay the cable company to not do their damn job. I pay taxes for people in Washington to not do their damn job. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I'm paying YouTube $0 and they get more done for me than all of these frickers. So like, I mean, so am I going to like give them credit where credit's due? Absolutely. Do I think the platform's perfect? No. Do I think we're getting more than we paid for? Yes, because we paid $0. So that's my argument. YouTube is broken sometimes. YouTube is glitchy sometimes. YouTube is held together by duct tape, and 2 billion people use it every day, and I'm surprised it worked this well. So,
well, Audrey already has a little pitchfork. She's ready to take
devil's advocate.
Yes.
Yeah, she's gonna take some names down.
Comcast.
Audrey's pointing her little like Comcast,
Right. U.S. government.
YouTube.
No, YouTube doesn't go on the list because they're doing a good job.
Oh, I see. Okay, so you've decided that.
Yes.
Well, it's a good thing.
I get to make these decisions.
I'm scared. I mean, have you guys ever felt like you were shadow banned?
No.
Why? Like, I feel like
I have multiple accounts across multiple platforms, but go on.
I feel like you're not gonna get shadow. That's why I said earlier. Like, I don't even think is shadow banning actually a thing? Because wouldn't they just ban them like they did with Leafy?
I made part of that argument in Twitter that if they want to get rid of somebody, granted he's the biggest solo creator, if they want to get rid of somebody, they don't even need a reason because they're the contracts and the terms of service. And I've read the terms of service out loud on stream for like 3 hours. It was a nightmare, but we had fun with it. But like the terms of service are so blatant. I don't even know why anyone says the terms of service are vague. The terms of service aren't vague. They're vicious AF. They're like telling you that they'll just like they don't even play. the language of that thing is so ruthlessly clear that they can terminate you out clause. I mean, for me, it was like, if you can't read the YouTube terms of service and understand it, if you're a teenager or you never like worked a job or you never even worked like at a restaurant or as a barista, like, because here's the thing, if you sign an employment contract, it's about the same as YouTube. And like in a lot of cases, it's worse than YouTube. It's like, if you sign an employment contract, if you've ever had a job, like a day job, your employment contract is more vicious and more blunt than YouTube's terms of service are. And I've read YouTube's terms of service, and I was like thinking about like some of my old contracts, and I was like, geez, this looks familiar. But like, so you can't say it's vague. And then in terms of the community guideline stuff, it's like, have you ever read your work harassment policy? Have you ever gone to HR? If that wasn't vague, if you would get fired at your day job, then clearly you know when you're harassing or griefing and when you've broken community guidelines. If you know you'd get suspended or terminated from work or suspended from school, you're like, well, what is harassment? Or they don't say. It's like, it's a bad faith argument. You know, because there ain't nobody who's going to tell me that YouTube is more strict than the HR department, like at their day job or any job that they worked. And they ain't going to tell me that YouTube's community guidelines are more strict than the student code of conduct at any school they went to. There's no freaking way. So it's not vague, and it's not so harsh. It's right there, and it's like, it's direct, it's blunt, it's ruthless as hell. And to your point, Audrey, if they wanted to get rid of him, they got rid of Alex Jones. They got rid of Leafy. They've gotten rid of other people. Again, Leafy's probably the biggest person. Alex Jones probably the second biggest person they've ever done that to. I don't think they would do it to PewDiePie. They wouldn't do it to Felix, but they also have no reason to do it to Felix. They have no reason to do it to Felix. Again, he's been a good boy all year. He's been wholesome as hell.
Yeah, I know. So that's why I think I saw that on Twitter and I didn't even bother to look into it because I was just like, that's probably not correct, and just kept going.
Yeah, fake news.
Do you think Santa's gonna?
Santa?
You think Santa's gonna give PewDiePie everything on his list?
Santa got COVID.
I think he already has.
Yeah, Audrey, because Roberto keeps saying that he's been a good boy all year.
I said Santa got COVID.
Oh, don't even. No.
Are you trying to get us?
Why?
That would be really bad.
Don't, like, God.
Wow.
Don't even. Jesus.
So MG
You are the devil.
She's in character
pole.
right now. She's in character. She's very dangerous with that pitchfork.
Oh, yeah.
I'm very glad that we are in completely separate sides of the country right now. I feel like her taking that to a party would be just asking. Like she would just wave that thing around. Someone's eye is gonna get poked out. That's a definite. MG Art in the chat brought something up which I can kind of relate to. But she said, to answer your question, perhaps on Instagram, but that's probably just my poor activity and lack of proper hashtags. Yeah, and I've kind of felt that, but I think I kind of felt that it was a shadow ban on my half, but then I also felt like maybe it was a combination of different things, because when I noticed the shift happen, Instagram had changed how their feed was set up.
The chronological thing, or
yeah.
Okay,
I see. Chronological thing, and then they added stories. Like it was just
a massive platform update.
Right. It was a culmination of different things that I think attributed to that, which just completely killed my engagement.
I've seen that happen. A couple of my friends have said that. I've seen people actually be shadow banned on TikTok, but what that was it had to do with not being able to really truly confirm their identity because they swapped SIMs or phones or whatever, and they kind of tie your TikTok account to your device. And I've known people who've done it to not only be shadow banned, but even people be locked out of their account. So I know that TikTok does something like that at a higher level because they suspect it being not legit. So I know that can be real. Like, so when it's something like with your, SIM card or IP address or something like that, then stuff like that makes more sense. Like, it makes more sense with Instagram sometimes because of it being either tied to mobile, but also Instagram can be so spammy that I could see them throttling accounts because of the spam or mistaking something for spam or like bot activity, even if it's not you doing the bot activity. Like, there's so many things with that. I've seen that happen. I have this influencer vetting tool that agencies use to like check out content creators for brand deals, and so I can kind of do like this authenticity check on any influencer. And I've seen like where some accounts like have suspicious activity. Audrey's having too much fun.
I'm just
with
really
that.
distracted right now.
This is why we can't give Audrey
Nice things.
Yeah, we can't give Audrey nice things. Speaking of nice things, guys, if you're in the chat and you're listening to this right now, please head over to Twitter and follow us at No Assembly Pod on Twitter. Yes. And if you're in the chat right now, go over there and like and retweet the last thing that I said. And share about the show. I'm just asking, excuse me, what do you mean hashtag cancel Romina? You can't. Wow. You know what? We should just rename this entire episode. Romina gets shadow banned from NARP.
Oh.
But we have to use PewDiePie's name for views now, don't we? Like every other YouTuber tonight.
All right. Well, that's all right. If we're gonna,
it's just No Assembly Pod, right?
Yeah, it's at No Assembly. You're on the show. You don't even know our own Twitter.
I know it. I know it.
Wow. We're a lost cause. We're a lost cause. You are here to spread chaos in the world. Literally, that is your job. Waving your pitchfork around.
Wait, I have an important question.
Oh, yes. Okay. All right.
Is the devil just the fire version of Poseidon? Because look at this.
I mean, you'd have to go into the Greek side and everything like that, but Hades and Poseidon were brothers of Zeus as well. They were also children of Cronus.
Why would it be the opposite? He just has
this is what Poseidon uses.
No, Poseidon uses a trident. I wouldn't necessarily. A pitchfork isn't exactly a trident.
So what are you saying? Like it's a devil, like the opposite of a wholesome farmer?
Yes.
That's bold. I mean, we're talking about a fictional character, so.
Okay, all right. So we have to stick to fictional characters that use pitchforks. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
All right. Let's see. Who else is?
Like the fire.
I mean, Hades is a brother of Poseidon, so you're not far off. I mean, but that's not why the whole fire and brimstone thing. That's just because he's over the underworld and also is supposed to be the gatekeeper of Tartarus, where the Titans are imprisoned.
Yeah. Nothing about that.
I have to check and see if the Odyssey is public domain. If the Odyssey is public domain, I'm about to like get in on this.
Wait, really?
What?
Is it?
If it is, I'm about to make bank.
Why? What are you gonna do with it?
I'm gonna rewrite the Odyssey. And like it's gonna be grimy and everything like that. I'm gonna make George R. R. Martin look like crap. It's like It's gonna be like you think like I'm gonna murder every one of my characters. Like like it's not even gonna be like it'll be ridiculous. It'll be like what? Like,
Audrey, you have to
Roberto. Like it'll be that serious.
Audrey, you have to type that again because you had a typo.
What? No. Oh, no Twitter.
Yeah.
Go follow us on video is doing pretty good. It's got about 500 views in the first 10 minutes.
Who? What?
That's awesome. Why?
Huh?
What do you think? What was different about this one?
Oh, well, I mean, I used his face in the pump thumbnail instead of mine, and I like titled it "Was PewDiePie shadow banned by YouTube, or is this worse than we think?"
Nice.
Were you about to say pump nail? Like pumpkin? What? I don't know. I'm trying to have like this Halloween spirit, and you guys are really bringing me down. Wow.
I don't have a response to. Like, I don't like.
I didn't hear what you said.
I don't know how to
Roberto,
respond
your
to
stream
that.
is blurry. It's been blurry for like, I don't know, like 10 minutes, I would say.
I wonder if it's my.
But your
like,
voice is impeccable. Oh, and he's gone dark.
Is that better?
Is it your Wi-Fi?
It's like, it's the same.
No, because then
It could be the Wi-Fi. It could be anything. I'm annoyed that I can't use my real camera right now because I have my real camera set up and I can't like.
Why can't you use it?
I tried and it didn't let me.
I think I blame Audrey for that.
But
See, we should
Why?
have told him. He could have just stayed on with his.
you brought it up.
I didn't bring it up. It was MGR.
It was, let's blame them.
Let's blame one of the viewers.
I'm kidding.
Oh.
There we go.
I love whenever Roberto shows up a little late to the podcast because I see him in the little window underneath and he's like waving like a sim. And he's like, "Put me on." And I'm like, "No, I'm keeping you locked in this room that has no windows and doors."
Do you just murder your Sims, Romina? Is that what you do to them?
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what Romina did.
I mean, isn't that like the fun part though?
Jesus.
We need to switch headbands, I think.
Yeah.
No, but the best thing to do is you lock them in rooms and you just let them die slowly.
Hashtag Romina's the devil. Both of you are evil.
Excuse me, did you just hear what she just said?
Both
Did
of
you
you
just hear
are
what she just said?
evil. Like
Audrey.
the meme is that I'm the Dark Lord here. Like, jeez, but both of you are legit evil. I'm just dark. Y'all are evil.
Audrey, can you please repeat what you just said?
No.
What?
You guys heard me the first time.
I didn't hear.
Scene Sprout made a good joke about the whole is the opposite of the devil, a wholesome farmer like thing, because he's like, it's for the pitchfork is for harvesting souls.
Oh my god.
Wow, see you guys, I wasn't so far off.
Amazing.
That is amazing. That's like that was a legit. That was real. That's like good. All right. But yeah, I think that there are like, here's the thing. I think that there are people who are disingenuously going back to our main topic tonight, but the PewDiePie thing. I think that YouTube just has constant like bugs, glitches and stuff like it's a 15-year-old platform that wasn't originally built to scale. The platform was originally built on Flash. Flash was then discontinued about like 3 years in because of the switch over to like 4 or 5 years in, it was moved over to HTML5 because of security bugs in Flash and Steve Jobs killing it on the iPhone. And so like there was so was that. So like YouTube got acquired by Google in 2006 after launching in 2005. iPhone came out in 2010. iPhone kills off Flash in 2011. So yeah, like 5 years after Google gets a hold of this thing that's Flash based, the entire thing had to be switched over to HTML5 and abandoned Flash. So that was one iteration of major change. Then in 2013, you had the major platform shift to watch time. And then creators have been crying ever since. And so 2016, you had the move over where the homepage, 2015 actually, it no longer had to do with your sub feed. Introduction of notifications happens in 2015, 2016. Kind of screws over older channels a little bit if they're not gaining momentum and getting people to hit notifications because no one was retroactively opted in, et cetera, et cetera. The platform has been building like it's like Edinburgh. It's like building one city over the previous undercity and like all the corpses and never really cleaning it out, and you're just stacking layers upon layers upon layers, like, you know, or like old New York in Futurama, just like layers on layers and layers. And you still have that, all that garbage is still there. Like all that garbage is still there. And so the fact that the platform has stability issues, hell, aren't there times we can't even upload? I mean, I'm just not shocked. Because my thing is, if this is happening and like, okay, PewDiePie's like, all right, obviously something's wrong here. How many small channels are probably have been having this go on for weeks or months and
Yeah.
nobody gave a crap, and
It's
they
like,
couldn't
why
tell.
only PewDiePie? I feel like, because I feel like we've all agreed that he wasn't shadow banned. So
Yeah.
like, why was it only PewDiePie's? It couldn't have only been his channel that was experiencing this.
No, it's just that his channel gets so many views and is so big that it would be obvious that it's happening. But if anyone else said it was happening to them, you know what people would say? They'd tell them they're imagining it and that they just suck or that they're irrelevant now. You know, is
Yeah.
what. But PewDiePie, everyone's like, oh no, if it's happening, if PewDiePie says there's an issue, or if we see that his channel's getting less views, well, no, it can't be. And the thing is, that's fair because there's patterns we can look at with PewDiePie. We know how his content's gonna perform. But the thing is, I'm positive that this has affected other creators, even creators that might not be small channels, but smaller than PewDiePie. There's probably creators with like, I think I know a couple of creators that feel like this may have happened to them, that have talked about it before and weren't believed, you know, like, so I feel like, well, glad this issue is coming up and maybe YouTube will actually fix it, but will they just fix it for Felix or will they fix it for everybody?
Did you guys see that?
No, what?
I just dropped the thing and it slapped me in the face and I caught it.
I did see a little bit of that. I was trying to figure out what was happening. I was like, wait, what's going on here?
I caught it like
Um,
as it was falling backwards.
I was actually paying attention to Roberto and was trying to think of
Damn.
how I was going to answer his question. And the answer to that question is they're just going to fix it for Felix because he's the only one who matters. So
Hopefully they fix it for everyone, but I don't know how that works when it comes to IT stuff. Maybe they can like figure out what the bug was and then apply that to everything, but that sounds different.
maybe Felix is the bug. Dun, dun,
You think it's
I
there are
What?
people who think that this is like, I'm like looking at the comments on my actual video right now. There are people who think that like this is political or something like that. I mean, not everybody agrees on this, but I've actually talked to people one-on-one because the thing is, when you do it in a crowd or you do it in a group, like I've talked to people at conventions about this one-on-one. Like, I don't think that YouTube suppresses content based on anyone's political beliefs or views, but I do believe that there are groups, because here's the thing. If you talk to people, and I'll just say it, if you talk to people who are more right-leaning, they'll say that they think their videos are suppressed on YouTube. Fun fact though, in terms of political commentary, right-leaning channels are the biggest political commentary channels on YouTube, not left-leaning channels. And then, you know what? Who makes the same argument though that they make about being suppressed or feeling that their content is being suppressed? The LGBT community. So, is YouTube simultaneously suppressing the LGBT community and right-leaning conservative people at the same time? And if they do, then one would argue that they're completely
They're
unbiased.
suppressing everyone.
If they're like, yeah, or is it more likely that everybody is getting the shaft in some way, shape, or form? That everybody's
Maybe
like,
this is all the plan. They're suppressing everybody so that they can kill creators
but you see, but again,
and have their own content like Netflix.
of what?
Look, you're laughing now.
All of their
they
content
tried
has
that.
to do with
They
the
tried
algorithm.
that, and it was a colossal failure. Remember this thing called YouTube Originals that colossally
Remember
failed?
Quibi?
Remember
Oh, are we
Quibi
gonna talk
also
about
was
Quibi?
like a colossal failure. Like,
Are we
no,
surprised? No. Everyone knew that was going to fail as soon as they said that it wasn't a community-driven thing. We're like, okay, see ya. No one's going to
yeah,
care.
and it's like, oh, you're gonna just do this Hollywood thing. You're not gonna like, you know, and you're gonna do low budget Hollywood instead of just, you know, high budget creators. Okay, like, you see what I'm saying? It's like, no. So like, YouTube isn't suppressing people because of their views. It's that YouTube isn't making decisions because YouTube is algorithmically driven. YouTube isn't making decisions for the most part, with the exception of like the Leafy ban. YouTube doesn't make decisions. Not really. YouTube's like, think about it. The community has cried out that YouTube is not even using human moderators for their monetization reviews and for their stuff being flagged. They're like, it's all robots. You guys aren't using humans. What you need to give us human reviews. So what is it? Is YouTube making decisions about your content and is attacking you personally, or is politically biased, or is it all run by machines? because like the people can't make up their mind what they're mad about. Is it that YouTube is like sitting there rubbing its hands together trying to screw you over, or is it a cold soulless terminator that doesn't understand nuance making decisions and you're mad about that? You can't have it both ways, because like again, YouTube's not making decisions, it's robots. It's robots that have all the nuance of an 8-year-old making. Like, it's machine learning, it's AI, and it's not that bright. It's only about 8 years old or younger. It's like it's a tot. It's a tot. You know what I'm saying? It's a tot. It's a freaking, you got a kindergartner AI. All right, so you can't be that mad. Like, and by that I mean you can't be that surprised. So what I'm saying is, the content that people think is, and again, it's not like, if you look at the numbers, people aren't being suppressed for whatever their views or beliefs are. I know people feel that way, but I've looked at the stuff and I've talked to people. I was like, let's make this tweak here. Just humor me and make this tweak. And you know what? I've seen people like all of a sudden. I had a friend who was a commentary channel. Right? I told him how restricted mode might be affecting his content, and I told him some tweaks that I thought would help if he just modified his stuff a little. I'm like, don't change the content, but just pull back here, here, and here, and find another way to say this, and like curse 60% less. And let's just see what happens in a month. He's like, hey, Roberto, it's not been a month. It's 2 weeks. And my views are skyrocketing and my monetization skyrocketing. It's like, yeah, this is the new deal. I'm like, and people are still happy with my content. No one's pissed, blah, blah, blah. Comedian friend with mine with a couple of million subscribers. I told him, experiment in some videos and don't curse, and then report back to me which ones have higher CPM rates. Hey, Roberto, I stopped cursing. It's double CPM rates, but my audience is complaining because they like my dirty jokes. I was like, well, you got to decide, more views or more money. And then, he sided with the audience on that. He's like, yeah, I guess I'll just take less money. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, the platform is the platform. The rules are the rules. We know how this stuff works. People like to be naive or feign outrage and manufacture outrage for views and support, or hijack outrage from somebody else. And then it just ends up being this cycle of fake news, and people, often playing the victim, when in reality, there are platform issues, and there are major platform issues that we'll never really see brought up because they're happening to people who aren't big enough to have a voice that will be taken seriously and will be heard.
Dang.
I was waiting for that.
No,
Incredible.
I agree with that. It's kind of sad, but at the same time, like, it makes sense for YouTube, the company. It's kind of like you can't have everything. I guess, like with the swearing and stuff. It's like, well, what do you think? Like, they are a business at the end of the day, so you can get mad at them for, giving you less money or whatever. But at the same time, you're using their platform, so
For free.
yeah. Yeah, I think people who say that sometimes are the ones who have been on YouTube for longer, maybe, and they used to be able to do that. And then things have changed and they're kind of salty that they can't do it anymore. But the argument,
the Wild Wild West. But the Wild Wild West happens, like, every industry gets tightened up and buttoned up and goes corporate when people want to start making real money instead of pennies. You know what I'm saying? Like, YouTube got clean and stopped being the Wild Wild West the minute everybody started being able to make real money. If you want to go back to the good old days, it's the good old days when everyone was broke.
And also, like, look,
I want to make fake money.
Oh my god.
What were you saying?
No, but like PewDiePie, for example, he used to curse like a lot in his videos, and then he kind of made it into a joke, like when the apocalypse happened, to like be family friendly, and now it's become like a running joke on his channel, basically, to be like family friendly. But people, I feel like, didn't really care at the fact that he stopped swearing, even though it was a huge part of his like content back in the day. Like, I feel like people now are kind of moved past it, and it's almost a meme almost that he doesn't swear,
Yeah, he's like, he makes it a meme that, oh, I'm totally family friendly, you
Yeah.
know? Like, yeah.
And it's become like a whole meme on the entire platform. Like now, whenever people like swear something, it's like no, family friendly, you know.
Or
So
it's
I guess
like,
this is how the culture evolved.
or like it's become a meme that's like, oh, demonetized. Or like when
Yeah.
H3 said, it's like, oh, you can't even curse, bro, when he was talking about the whole Leafy thing, where like, it's like,
Yeah.
we know how it is. Like, but that's the other thing. It's like, if you decided you look, I mean, think about it. You can't do the stuff that people say they want to do on YouTube. You can't do that at school, and you can't do that at work. So if you said, oh, I want to do this for a living, I want to make this a career, why would you be able to do things that you, and like, oh, where's the harassment or where's the commentary? You could not say those things about someone who works in your industry, in any other industry. You couldn't say those things about a coworker in any other place. You couldn't say those things about a classmate. So don't feign ignorance about what harassment is.
Okay, I have a question, Roberto.
Yeah.
Because I saw this on, I don't know where I saw this, but I saw this somewhere. People were talking about it, about how like drama is such a big part of YouTube. And if there's anything that YouTube, the company, can actually do to like make drama less everywhere, because it's not technically like good publicity for the platform a lot of the time. So do you think there's anything that they can do business wise that makes sense to reduce like the popularity and
they would have to make
like,
it, they would have to make the platform's terms of service inhospitable, and it would have to make it financially disadvantageous for content that would fall in that category. And I think you've seen overtures to that, like the creator on creator harassment policies, but it's a matter of whether they have the balls to enforce it and whether it has teeth. And the thing is, I think they do, but the thing is, they're trying to do it in a way that also doesn't upset the community. Because the thing is, I used to think that they were cowards about that kind of thing, and I've been proven wrong, clearly. Like, I've even said it, I think, at a conference once, that I thought that they were like kind of cowards when it comes to that. Like, because why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? But I've come to the appreciation of that. It's like they have to think about it, because they, even though they have the legal right to do so as a company, and because we signed the terms of service, they don't want to set a bad precedent. And they're also genuinely thoughtful about the fact that if they do something, other platforms will follow their lead. Right. And I've been thinking about it. And so the thing is, YouTube is actually very mindful, which is surprising for a company that, but it's not, because YouTube is part of a bigger company in terms of Google, but YouTube's not that big as a company. YouTube's only 5,000 employees. That's not a lot. Twitch has more employees than YouTube does. YouTube has 5,000 employees. Apple has about 140,000 employees. Amazon has almost 1 million employees now. Twitch has about 6,500 employees. Facebook has 130,000 employees. Like, you see what I'm saying?
How many does Zoom have?
I think I'd have to double check, but I think Zoom.
Let's look that up.
Doesn't Zoom have like
I'll look it
1,200
up.
employees? Like somewhere between 800 and 1,200, I think. Can't imagine it's less. But yeah, I mean, you see, like, YouTube is grossly understaffed. Like, Microsoft has about 150,000. Like,
Why?
Google has over 100,000 employees. So you could argue 5% of its resources in terms of manpower is dedicated to YouTube. That seems disproportionate, considering they have the #1 and #2 website in the world. So, like, when you think about it, YouTube as a platform is huge. YouTube as a company is not. And then YouTube as a company isn't that profitable.
All right. So Zoom has 2,854 employees.
So Zoom has half the employees of YouTube. Put that in perspective.
What? Wait, why are they so understaffed? We're getting into details
YouTube is
now.
not that profitable. YouTube
Wait,
is
what?
not that profitable. Like, I'm not joking. YouTube is not that
I mean,
profitable.
the reason is because Google has better places to place people.
If think about it like this,
More profitable sectors.
if it wasn't for Google's own being able to subsidize the hosting themselves, YouTube would be a major loss leader if it actually wasn't already cannibalizing Google resources internally. If YouTube wasn't cannibalizing Google resources internally, YouTube wouldn't operate at a profit.
I didn't know they didn't make so like enough.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty bad.
I just assumed they did because they're so
Everyone
big.
does, but I actually read these like detailed reports and I follow the market, and I'm like I'm an investor. So like I used to work in web hosting. You remember? So like I understand this. But again, do you think the average content creator knows or understands that, or even really deeply cares?
No.
And I've been to YouTube HQ. I've been to the I've seen it. Like I've talked to people. I know people who work there. It's like I know people who work at YouTube and Google. Like it's like there's so much involved in building something. Like, do you realize most content creators can't even build a website on Squarespace properly? So like the lack of understanding.
You laugh, but it's true. It's so true. I see it all of the time, and I'm like, guys, I can help you. I can help. Like, I will guide you and tell you what to do. But then they don't really care because like it's just whatever. Who cares? My website is ugly, and I'm like, you can remove like the powered by Squarespace thing at the bottom, right? It's like, oh, whatever. I'll get to it. Just like
So like, I mean, for me, when I see stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, people don't understand nuance. They don't understand technology. Like most people do not understand the platforms that they're using. I even know large content creators who don't know most of the features or most of the settings in YouTube. Like I'm talking to people with millions of subscribers. I'm like, I've had to help someone with over 4 million subscribers to understand that they could actually select and choose which words are flagged in their comment section. Like I'm serious. Like 4 million subscribers and you don't know where that setting is, and that's not shade to that content creator. I'm just making the point that like even if you are successful at YouTube, it doesn't mean you understand YouTube. It means you understand your own audience. The systems, like I understand the systems of this platform better than I know how to be entertaining. Like I'm not good at being entertaining on this platform at all.
I would disagree. Once you get your costume that I got you off of Amazon and you wear that next week, it's gonna be real entertaining. I promise you that.
Like guys, I'm a trash entertainer. Like,
not with the headband I just got you.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I got it. It'll be a surprise as to which one.
I'm a trash entertainer, but I'm a very good analyst, and I'm a very good social media marketer, and I'm a very good tech commentator. Like I understand the business surrounding the technology that powers social media and powers these apps. And that's because I have a technical background and a technical understanding, and I understand the business of it too. I understand how it makes money. I worked at a web hosting company for a lot of my adult career prior to being an entrepreneur. And even before that, I built websites as a freelancer for a living before and after that. I learned how to code. I learned PHP, MySQL, and Python. I know how to architect a database. You see what I'm saying? So like, I know how this stuff does and doesn't work. And I know how somebody sits there and makes a decision about these lines of code that we make a living off of. And I know that most people, I'm not saying most content creators need to know that stuff or should know that stuff, but like, again, most content creators don't even know how to build a basic website and don't know how the settings of their own YouTube channel are supposed to be set up to work properly. So it doesn't shock me that they don't know anything when it comes to what these companies will or won't do and can and can't do, and why they also don't understand. Like, I mean, here's another bad faith argument thing. You know how people say YouTube's terms of service are vague and all this stuff, and you see content creators with millions of subs make that argument? If you don't know what the community guidelines and harassment are and the policies are, and you're a multi-million subscriber YouTube channel and you're a rich YouTuber, or even if you're a full-time YouTuber with a couple 100,000 subscribers, you can afford to hire a lawyer to tell you how the paperwork and the policies work for the thing that you make a living at, that's your career, that's your full-time gig. You can afford a lawyer to translate that into English for you. And if a lawyer can't read the terms of service to you in a way that you understand, fire your lawyer. Like, you know, and then hire Ian Corzine, my lawyer. Like, there's like, just get a lawyer to, like, if you're a full-time YouTuber and you're saying the terms of service are vague and they don't explain anything and like blah, 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 and YouTube can do, then get your lawyer to translate it to English because you're a full-time content creator. How do you not know the terms of service governing your full-time job? Like, that's dumb. Like, anybody else who works a job and then something comes up and people go, well, it's in your employment contract. Everyone would go, well, you shouldn't have signed your contract, like, or you shouldn't have taken the deal. Like, everyone, no one would have any qualms about it. You see what I'm saying? So why is it content creators think that they can play victim on that? No. Now, if you're a smaller channel, that's different. If you can't afford a lawyer, that's different. But a full-time content creator or someone with 1 million plus subscribers has no business saying they don't understand how YouTube's terms of service work or community guidelines or any of it or the policies, when they can afford a lawyer that can explain it to them, whose job is to explain it to them. And if they're doing this for a living, there's no reason for them not to understand exactly how that works and have a lawyer explain it if they don't. There's no excuse for that. That means you're bad at your job.
Yeah. We'll need to stop complaining about YouTube. Just in general.
I don't think creators will ever stop complaining.
Yeah.
Just like people won't stop complaining about other stuff in life.
Yeah. I feel like the team at YouTube actually cares, though. At least
I believe YouTube cares.
Like, I've only talked to one person at YouTube before, but literally just from that one person, I feel like at least that person was really obviously passionate about the platform and cares. So just from that,
every employee that I've ever met at YouTube loves creators. A lot of them used to be creators. A lot of them have family members who are creators. They're small channels and stuff like that, and they watch creators like it's their TV. Their kids like watch this stuff. Like, I mean, they care. They're invested. They care. Like I keep saying, there's nobody that I believe is at YouTube rubbing their hands thinking of how to screw over creators.
Which is, I wish they had a better, like, I guess, social media presence as the company, because I feel like that's where they get roasted a lot, or that's like what people see, like, on Twitter. So they kind of just assume that the rest of the company and the rest of the people there have that same, like, coldness as their Twitter account, which is dumb. But that's just how it is. Like, people, you know.
And some of that's for legal purposes. You know, some of that's like, we gotta say this boilerplate thing that people are mad that we sound robotic, but that's called legal liability.
Yeah, that makes sense. But then there's places like Wendy's that are like memes online. You know,
they believe me when I tell you that they manufactured an internal type of algorithm for them to be able to know what they can and can't do when it comes to that. Wendy's isn't tweeting anything that can get them sued.
Yeah, that's. Well, I wouldn't want you to do YouTube to do that either. But I'm just saying, if they could like make their socials a little warmer, I feel like that would help with the community's vision of them, because it's like that's how you link the community to the company directly, or how they like talk. You know what I mean?
YouTube and Google, like Google, because like when we're talking about YouTube, we're really talking about Google. Google is an engineering-driven company, and beyond that, it's an advertising-driven company, and everything else is either a secondary consideration or not one at all. That being said, I also think that they're benign for exactly that reason. They're benign for that reason because, again, advertiser-friendly largely equals wholesome. Engineering is cold, calculated, and ruthless and doesn't care about your feelings or your political affiliation. It cares about what is logistically and practically sound and factually provable, because that's what engineering is. So that's why I give them more benefit of the doubt than I will the average human being, because human beings value their feelings over facts. Engineers don't, and advertisers certainly don't. Advertisers care about money, which means I know exactly where they stand. And engineers care about logistics and facts, which means I know exactly where they stand. Everybody else is sus. Like, everybody else is really looking sus. Like, engineers, it's like, if you give me anybody else in an engineer, I'm trusting an engineer. Give me somebody who specifically I know what they care about more than anything is money. I know exactly where they land on every issue if they care about money. And so I know exactly who I'm dealing with. If you don't care about data or money as a priority, you sus.
You sus.
You sus. Like, am I wrong about that? Like,
No.
because I can predict you if you care about data and money.
What is
If you don't care about data and money, I don't know what you about. Like, so I'm like, hey.
Roberto sus.
No, I'm the least sus person there is because I care about data and money.
Did you just point to Roberto as sus with your little pitchfork?
Look. Right
She
here.
did. Indeed. Indeed.
Someone said KFC Spain's Twitter is the king of social media right now.
Really?
Never heard of that before.
Huh.
Well, I guess I imagine they would have a social media account for any country they are in the language. And they probably have a whole social media division just for that.
And for some reason, the Spain one is popping off.
Hey guys, are we gonna go follow it? Is that what's happening?
I'm gonna go.
Maybe we might check this out.
Audrey's gonna be the #1 fan for KFC Spain's Twitter account.
KFC.
Let's see, KFC Spain
I probably shouldn't have typed it.
Twitter.
Oh,
So
no.
it's at KFC_ES. Audrey's gonna she's gonna poke
So Matt
her eye out
Koval,
with
the
that.
YouTube liaison, just tweeted at me in coffee break in a convo we were having. And Matt Koval, the YouTube liaison, says, "You called it RB, things break, all fixed now."
Mm.
So YouTube officially declared that I was right.
We got the stamp of approval.
I was right.
I mean, yeah. Why would they target someone? I don't understand why people think that they have the time to target. Like, why? Just out of nowhere.
I'm sorry. I'm just like celebrating right now because I'm about to go found the Roberto is Always Right Foundation.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is this
Like, actually, I'll just name it the Berto is Always Right Foundation. That way I can call it BARF.
That's good.
why?
Because it's funny. No other reason.
Let's see. I'm checking out their Twitter. It seems like they're good with memes.
See, YouTube just needs to tweet some memes every once in a while. Like, you know what would be really cool is if they had, like, if they would tweet related, like, memes related to things that were trending on the platform. Or, like, that people were actually talking about, not the trending tab. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would have been super easy to tweet, like, an Among Us related YouTube meme. Because, like, why not? Like, you know, something that is wholesome. And, like, only trends that are more wholesome, obviously, but that could be cool. And people might think it's a little cringy if it's not done properly. But
You know who's really good at memes? Nux Taku is really good at memes. I love that guy. It's almost to 2 million subs.
ding.
Yep.
Ooh,
I've heard of, like, you.
that's a lot of subs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and he like he's been killing it. Like he's like really good. He's like very good. He doesn't do a face reveal. He's like he's really I love his stuff.
What is it? YouTubers and no face reveals. I feel like a bunch of those have been like.
I like some of these VTube, like, because the thing is, like, to be a cartoon character on your channel, like, you have to like have a certain like level to carry that, you know, like that's, and then also to make your own like universe, your own like in universe, the whole thing is like that's a lot.
Yeah.
So
Like
I dig it.
Yeah, but it's I think it's interesting because I feel like it's been happening more recently. Like there's been a couple who have, like even at the Mr. Beast trivia, which was pretty cool. Did you guys watch that?
I caught the replay.
No.
I didn't watch it live. I caught the
I
replay.
watched a little bit of it, but there was there was like one YouTuber in there who's one of the faceless YouTubers right now. And literally, because they were trying to choose like who to bring back for the final four from the people who got eliminated, and it was like overwhelming. Like for some reason, a bunch of these faceless YouTubers right now are just popping off like insane. And I feel like it's like a new trend almost.
Psychologically, they're the easiest to relate to, and the hardest to cancel.
True. True.
Because here's the thing, unlike regular YouTubers, they clearly are a fictional character and are doing a bit, and you can't judge them, not really, because they're truly a fictional character. They also have the permission. Think about it, if you're a fictional character and you're a cartoon character, you can say and do mostly whatever the hell you want because it's not reflective of you and there's no consequences in your real life. So you can be your most outgoing, your most risky version of yourself. And as a result, that reaches people because you can also, in a way, be more authentic because you can put all your passion into this character in a way that you would never do in the real world for fear of rejection.
Yeah, I feel like it'd kind of be stressful though if the stress of or being paranoid of people finding who you are.
It's
because
very difficult.
You have this persona like online, and it's like you're just trying to keep it separate from your life. What if something slips and someone finds
it? Almost never happens, and the only way it really usually happens is if an IRL friend who knows your deal betrays you. It's usually a friend or family member. That's the only way that happens. No. I actually have had a client who is a commentary YouTuber that hides his face. And so we actually have one of the things in our consult we did was we have a contingency plan for his face reveal. We also set up a condition when he reaches a certain level for him to have a bidding war for which sponsor gets to sponsor a face reveal of him.
Dang. That's like a whole new strategy now. You just
yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean, I kind of like that. There's I think there's been a few creators who have gained popularity, but not enough income to quit their part-time jobs or, you know, any temp jobs that they have. And that has actually posed a risk to their income because, like, if they work at Abercrombie and Fitch, like, they've had fans coming in and, like, they'll recognize them and then suddenly they have a bunch of fans and, like, it poses a threat to their job. And not just that, but maybe even the safety of the other employees.
You find a lot of that in New York and California, but especially California because the cost of living is so high that even what we might think is what's a reasonable and justifiable enough income to move to California to pursue YouTube is not enough of a reliable income to sustain living in California a lot of times without another job, even if you have like 500, 800,000 subscribers, even 1 million subscribers. You have 1 million subscribers and be California poor.
Or even if you're still growing, you know, and depending on what kind of content you're making.
Yeah, because you could still have fans without being super famous.
I mean, you can have like 300,000 fans and still not make a decent living. But that's 300,000 people who know what you look like.
I know people with 1 million subscribers that don't make livable money off of YouTube, and it's not because they're a bad content creator. Because again, not everything pays. Like, remember, I'm one of the few people that tells the absolute God's honest truth about YouTube money, and that's not as good as people think. If you're doing A, but if you're doing B, it might be better than you could possibly imagine. But like if you're doing A, B, C, like it could be really, really. I know people who have told me straight to my face that they got like 3 million views and they made like $1,200.
What? That's crazy.
Like sometimes you have trash CPMs. Sometimes you have views that your thing goes big and goes viral, but it went viral and went international. And it went international in places where the ads just aren't there. So you got a bunch of views that didn't have ads that were worth anything. It doesn't matter if you get views if there's no ads on those views or if the ads are trash.
Someone asked if you could go back and be anonymous, would you do it?
I would.
I wouldn't.
No, but I might make a channel that is like
I would. Yeah, exactly. Might. I mean, I would do it.
I mean, you still could.
I think it's cool.
Actually, I think I technically have a channel that like that. But actually, yeah, something
like I would
that.
do it because I think it's interesting to do. Like it's a cool experiment to do. But I don't know if it would be my sole channel. Like I feel it would be something that I would do as an aside.
I plan to be behind channels that no one will even know that I own and that I bankrolled and that I own the channel, right? And that everybody else that is the channel is actually an employee of the company. Like I plan to have like a chain of YouTube channels, not like a multi-channel network, but a media company. I plan to become PBS. I've always planned to become PBS.
That actually brings up a point before we wrap up this episode. Audrey, would you start another channel?
No.
Why not?
Unless it's something like completely different, like a tech channel or something. But I don't think so. No, not now anyway. I wouldn't. Just because I feel like for my channel, I like it being more personality based, so I don't see the point of splitting it up. You know?
Unless you get to a point to where you can replicate into another vertical because you figured it out and you make money.
Yeah.
Graham Stephan has a personality-based channel, but he split off and did the Graham Stephan show so he could do another type of format. And because he could cross-pollinate the content and basically double his money, he's about to have another 1 million subscribed channel now. And now he has a third YouTube channel, the Iced Coffee Podcast.
What?
And so,
right.
Yeah, see, I would do something like that, but I wouldn't start another channel that's just completely like random. You know, like it'd have to be something that I knew would make sense and already kind of be based off like the main channel.
My goal for next year is to monetize every one of my channels. So next year my goal is for my podcast channel to be monetized, which I think I can definitely do, especially with the interviews I have left.
Your gear one?
My gear channel. I definitely believe that I can monetize that with the evergreen content I'm planning for that. Because I have like all this new gear, and I'm literally about to start dropping videos here pretty soon before the end of October, because I have stuff filmed, and I've been taking photos, and like I'm also gonna kind of get over making some of that content perfect, because I mean it's a new channel. I don't have to start out the gate trying to make content at the level of like Marquez and Justine. Like it's fine, and my content will still be good anyway. So like I can I've been procrastinating because of perfection, but the tech channel, the podcast channel, and the Real Talk with Roberto Blake channel, and the clip show.
Cody just launched a new channel. Did you guys see that? Cody Warner?
I did not see that.
So he just launched a new channel because when people signed up for his channel, it was like more positive vibes, like every day kind of thing, like motivational stuff. And he kind of strayed away from that and became more, I guess, personal vlogging type. And so he started another channel that's like daily doses of positivity and motivation and stuff.
Yeah, I was talking to him like last week for my podcast, and he didn't. I was asking like, "Are you working on anything new?" And he didn't bring up the new channel. So I feel like this was a
last minute.
Yeah, like a
doesn't surprise me.
Wait, was there a presidential debate tonight?
Yeah, there was. But hold
Oh.
on. I don't want to stray away from that. It's happening right now. But I don't want to stray away too far because there is a question that I want to answer in the chat regarding the safety and anonymity and stuff. So Seton Sprout says, along the same lines, how would you balance live streaming travel stuff and keeping yourself safe from people tracking you down? For instance, full-time RV boondocking. So I would say you would post stuff way later.
I wouldn't live stream.
Yeah, no live streaming at all. If you do live streaming, it has to be inside of the RV, like somewhere where the location, like you can't see out of the windows, and just being very conscious about what is in the frame. And that's you become conscious of that while you're filming, but then also while looking at editing, make sure that, license plates are blurred out, or if there's a window where you can clearly see like where you are, you also blur that out and you cut that out entirely. But what I would do is when I was traveling, I wouldn't post stuff. I had friends who would post things like in the moment, while they were at the place. And I have never done that ever. Even when I was at events and stuff, I would post things after the fact, like after when I was at home, or like 2 days later. If it was something that didn't need to be posted right away, then I would post it way later just for safety's sake. Because you might think, oh, like nobody's going to be able to recognize this one tree that's, behind me. But someone who does live there or is nearby will definitely recognize that tree. So
yeah, it's the same thing for like, not like when I do certain things, I don't film in or around my neighborhood or my main road. I go somewhere where it like people wouldn't recognize it.
yeah.
Like I've even been known to literally just go to another neighborhood.
Yeah, and that was kind of my thing too, because like I go to a lot of cool coffee shops and things like that. And one of the things that kept me from doing daily vlogging, even though I do a lot of cool stuff, is because I do a lot of cool stuff in the same places. And so the idea of having someone recognize those places and show up there was always really kind of scary to me.
Yeah.
Somebody uninvitedly
really careful.
tried to come to see me at my WeWork for like
oh yeah, didn't you tell us that once?
Yeah,
that's scary.
I wasn't there, thankfully, but I got the message on my phone. I'm like, I don't know this person, and they didn't set an appointment with me, and I wouldn't just meet some random person that I don't know.
Were they just trying to hustle and like meet you, or what?
Probably just a fan, and he was smiling in the photo that they make you take to confirm it. But I was like, I'm not even there, and you didn't like. Do you think like surprising? Do you think surprising me, and like if I'm in the middle of a meeting or a shoot, do you think like that I really want to, like I meet up with fans at events, and yeah, not everyone can travel to the events, and I get that and stuff like that. But like I'm an introvert. I don't like crowds that much anyway. I don't like those, like when I go to an event like VidCon, I have slightly less anxiety because you have to be vetted and you have to go through security.
So, okay. I feel like I could talk about this. Do you guys want to talk about stalkers and stuff like that next week?
We could. I mean, isn't it Halloween? So that's perfect, isn't it?
I got some Freddy vibes, some Jason vibes that we could talk about.
Yeah.
Let's do that next week. But before I wrap this up again, I just want to say, because Scene Sprout is working on RV type channel thing, and he's saying again, live streaming is becoming so huge now, so I was hoping to leverage that. I feel like
put yourself behind a VPN and a firewall.
Yeah, well, that's not the thing though. I mean, it's also having people be able to identify where you are. So yeah. I would just say you can totally do live streaming. Like if you're on StreamYards, you can do live streaming. And if you want to show like B-roll or something of a place of where you were at that day or the day before, you can easily show that through like StreamYards, like live streaming, or show photos and stuff. You know what I mean? Like you can still take advantage of the live streaming stuff, but not show stuff while you're there. Giving yourself a little bit of a head start to get away from that place so that you don't have people who are, you know, showing up where you are and following you and stuff. That would just be my thing. If you can live stream from the RV in a protected environment where you can't tell where you are, that's probably the safest thing, I feel like, because you never know who's watching. And there's definitely, I've got some stories, and I'm sure Roberto's got plenty of stories too.
Less than you would think, thank God. Less than you think.
Yeah, but also we probably have more than Audrey, just given the amount of time that we've been
around so long
doing it. I feel like there's a lot. But
I've got a couple weird.
So say get ready, because you're
Really?
going to start off. You're going to kick off the next episode with your story.
But also, I'm just paranoid, so I might have been overthinking a lot of stuff.
I mean, maybe.
I mean, that still makes an interesting story, but like,
we do have to wrap up though.
Okay.
So, Roberto, if you would like to think of an outro to see us out. Audrey, your little horns are so reflective. It's like you could go out on the street and nobody would run you over.
Maybe
You don't even need reflectors on your bicycle. You just wear those, pop those on.
And then get out of my way.
Get out. And you hold a little pitchfork as you're on your bike.
God.
You're on your bike and you're just like holding the pitchfork.
Here to point this way, because this is kind of dark.
Yeah, how did it get so dark in there?
It's
Don't
just
you have a light? You don't have a lamp?
I don't have a lamp on this side of the room. They're all behind
so it was
me.
natural lighting this whole time?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Blessed.
Okay. I bless my window.
All right, Roberto, are you ready to take us out?
Hang on, I'm wondering why my Stream Deck lighting is doing. Do it later. All right, yeah, I can take us out.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing and where we roast the entire YouTube community for no good reason. Thank you for listening. As a live YouTube audience, no audience members were harmed in the filming of this podcast, only the feelings of my co-host, as usual. This has been your trio of hosts, starting with Audrey, the devil without Prada, and Romina, the last unicorn, and of course, your dark lord of the internet, Roberto Blake. Thank you for joining us on the No Assembly Required podcast, filmed 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time-ish, or as we call it, Roberto Standard Time. Please make sure that you like and subscribe. Also, remember to leave us a review, a 5-star rating and a review over in Apple. You can't do that in Spotify because they won't just do their damn job and update the app. Thank you again. We will see